Welcome to Math Technology. In this video, we will see how we can create a simple calculator using the C++ programming language. The calculator that we are going to create here will offer for functionality addition, subtraction, multiplication and division, and this calculator will work on two numbers. The working of this calculator will be like: first the user has to select the operator and then he has to enter two numbers, and depending on the operator and the numbers that the user has entered, our calculator program will perform the calculation and display the result. Now I have already written some code. I have included the iostream header file to our program, and also here I'm stating that we will be using the components which are defined inside his std namespace, and then we have this main function which is the entry point of our program. So the first thing that we do here is we will declare the variables that we are going to need. Here, as I said before, the user is going to enter the operator, and to store that operator we need a variable, so I'm going to take the character data type and I'm gonna call this as operator. Now after that, since the calculator that we are going to create will work on two numbers, to store those two numbers we need two variables. So this time I'm gonna take double data type and I'm going to name my variables as num1 and num2. Now here, if you notice, then it is showing this red mark near this operator variable. That's because in C++ this operator is a keyword and we can't use it as a name for a variable, so I'm gonna change this one and I'm gonna say opus for operator. Okay. Now the next thing that we do is we will ask the user to enter the operator, so we're going to use the cout and I'm gonna say enter the operator, and we will display the choices also. So for addition, the user has to enter plus; for subtraction, user has to enter dash; for multiplication, this star symbol; and for division, this slash. Now office in this message the user will enter in operator, so we will read that using C and we will store that in this ORP variable. So now we know which operation the user wants to perform. Now we will ask the user to enter two numbers and we will store them in this num1 and num2. So I'm going to cout here and I'm going to say enter two numbers one by one, and then we will use the cin and we will read these two numbers and we will store them in the num1 and num2 variable. Okay. Now we have the operator and also the numbers on which we have to perform the operation. Now the next thing that we do is we will use a switch statement and we will perform the operation that the user has entered, and we will display the result. So it will be switch statement, and here the expression will be the value present in this OP variable that is the operator that the user has entered. Now here inside this switch statement, for every operation we will write the code, and every switch case will indicate a specific operation. So the first case that we write is for the addition operation, so we will use the case and the case value will be this character plus. So if the user has entered plus, then what we want to do, we want to add the values present in this num1 and num2 and we will display the results. So I'm gonna use the cout in here and I'm gonna first display the value of this num1 variable, and then I'm gonna display this plus operator with the space, and then I'm gonna display the value of this num2 variable, and then I'm gonna display this equal to symbol, and then I have to display the addition of num1 plus. I'm gonna use the parentheses to group the calculation, and here we will perform num1 plus num2. So if the user is gonna enter, let's say 1 and 2, then this will display 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. Now here I'm performing this num1 plus num2 and I'm directly using that result in this Here if you want you can perform this operation separately. You can store the result in a separate variable and then refer that variable containing the value of the result here in this layout. Okay, now after that we will use the break statement. Now after displaying the result for the addition operation we will come out of this a switch statement. Now this is for the plus. Now we have to repeat this for all other operations, so I'm gonna copy this case, I'm gonna paste it in here. This time it will be for the negative. That is for subtraction, and here we will change the symbol to display num1, num2. And here we will perform num1, num2 now. Similarly we have to do for the multiplication, and I'm gonna paste it in here. This time I'm going to change the symbol to multiplication. Here we will display num1 multiplied by num2, and the calculation that we do here is num1x num2. Now we have to write the case for the division operation, so it will be case and the case value will be the division operator, and here while performing the division we have to take care of one thing, and that is we can't divide a number by 0. If we do that, then we will arrive at a situation of divide by 0. Now here if you notice for addition we are performing num1 plus num2. For subtraction we are performing num1 dash num2, and similarly for multiplication we are performing num1 applied by num2. For the division operation what we do is we will perform num1 dividing by num2, so in that case if the num2 variable if it contains 0, then we arrive at divided by 0 situation. So before performing the division operation we will check whether the num2 variable is containing 0 or not. If it is containing 0, then we will display a message stating that divided by 0 situation. If the num2 variable is not containing 0, then we will perform the division and we will display the result. So here if we will use the if conditional statement, and we will check if num2 variable is not containing 0, then what we do is we will perform this operation. We will divide the number and we will display the result, so it will be num1 divided by num2, and we will perform num1 divided by num2, and we do this only when num2 variable is not containing 0, else. It means if the num2 variable is containing 0, then we will display a message stating that divided by 0 situation. Okay, now after that hereafter coming out of this else block we will use the break statement to break this switch. So if it is confusing, then I'm going to use a space in here, and I'm gonna separate it for the division operation. We're just checking whether num2 is containing 0. If it is containing 0, then we're displaying this message, else we are performing this calculation and we are displaying the result now. After that we will have one last case for this switch statement, and that will be the default case. This default case how will be executed if the user is going to enter an operator which is other than addition, subtraction, multiplication or division. Now for example, if the user is going to enter a question mark, then what we want to do in that case we just want to say invalid operator. So I'm going to out and I'm not up for the value present in this OPA variable, and I'm gonna insert the string value. I'm gonna say use an invalid operator, and since we are writing this default case in the end we don't need to use the break statement. Okay, so now we have written our program, and by the way, if you are not able to write this code along with me, then you can visit my website and get this source code. Okay, now we have written the program in here. Let's run this and to the operator I'm gonna say I want to perform addition into the two numbers one by one. I'm going to enter the first number I'll say 10 and now I can separate the second number by using the space or a new line if I want to use the new line. Then I have to press the enter button. I'm going to use the space to separate the second number and I'm going to enter 30. It says 10 plus 30 is equal to 40. Okay, we can close that. We will run it one more time. This time I'm gonna perform subtraction. I'm going to say the first number is 30. And the second number is 10. It says 30 minus 10 is equal to 20. That's fine. We will run it one more time. This time I'm gonna perform the multiplication and I'm gonna say 10 and 50. It says 500, which is the correct answer, and we will run it one more time. This time I'm going to enter the division operation and the first number I'm gonna enter will be 10. Second number will be 20 and the result that we get is 0.5, which is also fine. Let's run it one more time, and this time the operation will be division. The first number that we enter will be 10 and the second number will be 0. Now if you remember, it should say divide by 0 situation. Yes, it will say that, and we're gonna close it. We will run it, and this time I'm gonna enter some other operator like the question mark or hash symbol. I can enter anything other than plus, minus, multiplication and division operator, so I'm gonna enter hash. I'm gonna enter two numbers 10 and 20. It says hash is in